Hi, and welcome to a new video with Athena Quant. You know, every single trading algorithm, whether it's for picking stocks or sizing your positions, it's got a bunch of knobs and parameters you can tweak. And the billion-dollar question is always this: how do we find the absolute best settings for those knobs? Well, that's the quest for the optimal. And in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how it's done.
Okay, so let's dive right into the core of it. How in the world do we find that one perfect combination of settings out of literally infinite possibilities? I want you to imagine you're standing on this huge, hilly landscape in the dark, and your entire goal is to find the absolute lowest point. That landscape, that's what we call our objective function. Maybe we're trying to minimize risk, or maybe we're trying to maximize our Sharpe ratio. The algorithms we're about to talk about, they're basically our high-tech flashlights and maps for navigating this super complex terrain to find that lowest point, the optimal solution.
And look, this is not just some abstract mathematical puzzle. As you can see here, optimization is the engine running under the hood of pretty much all of modern quantitative trading. It's how we figure out how much to invest in each stock. It's how we tune our trading signals, how we train those complex machine learning models, and even how we adjust our positions on the fly, in real time. Getting this right is absolutely fundamental to making any strategy actually work in the real world. So, where do we start this quest? Well, we begin with the most fundamental tool in the entire optimizer's toolkit: gradient descent. You can think of it as the granddaddy of all these methods, and really, understanding it is the key to understanding everything else that follows.
Now, I know the formula might look a little intimidating, but trust me, the idea is incredibly simple. xk is just our current spot on that landscape. That little triangle symbol, nabla f, that's the gradient. It just points in the direction that's steepest uphill. So what do? We take the negative of that direction to go downhill. And that alpha, the learning rate, that's just how big of a step we take. And that's it. We're just repeatedly taking small steps in whatever direction looks most downhill from right where we're standing.
And this quote just perfectly illustrates the whole concept. You're on a mountainside, but you're in a thick fog. You can't see the whole valley. You have no idea where the bottom is, but you can feel the slope of the ground right under your feet. That feeling? That's the gradient. So you take a step in the steepest downward direction, you feel the ground again, and you repeat. You just keep doing this, hoping that eventually you'll end up at the bottom.
But here's the massive catch with our foggy hiker. To figure out the true gradient, this basic method needs to look at all of our data. I mean, every single historical data point. Only after it's processed all of that can it decide to take just one single step. If you've got massive data sets, this is painfully, brutally slow. It's kind of like having to survey the entire mountain range before you're allowed to move your
So that massive inefficiency, well, it obviously leads us to our first major upgrade. To get the speed and agility we desperately need for trading, we turn to a whole family of solutions called first-order methods. And they're all just really clever variations on that basic gradient descent idea.
So the first big idea is something called stochastic gradient descent, or SGD. Now, instead of looking at all the data, what if we just grabbed one random data point, or maybe a small mini-batch, and calculated the gradient based on just that little piece? The update we make is way, way faster, but it's also a lot noisier. The direction isn't perfect, right? But the thing is, we can take thousands of these rough, quick steps in the time it takes the standard method to take one slow, perfect step. For real-time data, this is an absolute game changer.
But of course, now we've got a new headache. Because our steps are so noisy, we tend to bounce around all over the place. Imagine trying to get to the bottom of a really long, narrow canyon. We'll just bounce from one wall to the other, making super slow progress down the actual canyon floor. And in trading terms, this zigzagging translates directly into high transaction costs. Every zig and zag is us buying and selling, just churning our portfolio inefficiently.
So what's the fix? Momentum. Instead of a cautious hiker taking tiny steps, I want you to picture a heavy bowling ball rolling down that same landscape. It builds up momentum. It's not going to be easily knocked off course by little bumps and ridges. Those are our noisy gradients, and it's just going to accelerate down the main slope. This completely smooths out the zigzagging and helps us find a much more direct and cheaper path to the bottom.
And we can take this one step further with an algorithm called Atom. And Atom is, well, it's just incredibly clever. It not only uses that momentum idea we just talked about, but it also adapts the learning rate, the step size for every single parameter all on its own. It actually learns which parameters need small, careful steps and which ones can take huge leaps. This combination of ideas makes it the absolute go-to, the default choice for huge, complex problems like training deep neural networks. And the best part? It works great right out of the box.
All right, so far, everything we've talked about has been based on the gradient. That's the first derivative, the slope.
But what if we could do more? What if, instead of just feeling the slope right under our feet, we could actually see the shape of the valley up ahead? Well, this is the power leap to what are called second-order methods. And this slide really shows the difference perfectly. Gradient descent, that's our hiker in the fog, just blindly following the slope. Newton's method, which is a second-order method, is like having a topographical map of the local terrain. It uses the second derivative, or the curvature, to fit a perfect little bowl, a parabola, to the landscape right where it's standing. Then instead of taking a small step, it calculates the exact bottom of that bowl and just jumps directly there, in a single leap.
And the difference in speed? Honestly, it's just staggering. Just look at this table. After 4 steps, gradient descent has barely even chipped away at the error. But Newton's method? The error basically squares itself at each step. It goes from 0.1 to 0.01 to 0.0001, and then to a number so small it's basically 0. This is called quadratic convergence, and it is unbelievably, ridiculously fast. So you're probably thinking, okay, why don't we just use Newton's method for everything? Well, there's a big catch. Calculating that curvature map, which is called the Hessian matrix, is incredibly expensive from a computational standpoint. For a problem with thousands, let alone millions, of parameters, it just becomes impossible to compute. So we have this amazingly powerful tool that, sadly, we can only really use on smaller problems. And this leads us to the perfect compromise, a family of methods called Quasi-Newton methods, and the king among them is L-BFGS. And no, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that full name. The key idea here is that L-BFGS cleverly approximates the curvature without ever actually calculating that super expensive Hessian matrix. It uses the history of our past steps and gradients to build a pretty good picture of the landscape's shape. And what you get is the best of both worlds. Almost all of the speed of Newton's method, but without that crippling computational cost.
Okay, we have covered a lot of ground. We've gone from simple downhill steps all the way to complex curvature approximations. So now let's bring it all together into a practical playbook. How do you, as a trader or a quant, actually choose the right tool for your specific problem?
Here's a really simple way to think about it. First things first, how big is your problem? If it's small, say under 100 parameters, Newton's method is a fantastic choice for its speed and accuracy. If it's massive, with tens of thousands of parameters like in deep learning, you really only have one choice. You've got to use Atom or SGD. And for everything in that sweet spot in between, which honestly covers a huge range of common trading problems, L-BFGS is going to be your best bet. And finally, if your data is noisy or you need to update your model in real time, that's going to push you back towards those faster, more adaptive methods like Atom.
And here it is, the ultimate cheat sheet. You can see all the trade-offs laid out so clearly. You've got Newton, 5 stars for speed and accuracy, but just 1 star for scalability. Atom is pretty much the opposite, incredibly scalable but not quite as accurate. And then right there in the middle, with a solid 4 stars across the board for speed, accuracy, and scalability, you have L-BFGS. This is exactly why it's so often the default choice, a true workhorse algorithm for quantitative finance.
And I really want to end on this final and maybe most crucial thought. We've spent this entire explainer talking about finding the best possible solution. But in the real world of trading, chasing that one perfect, mathematically optimal point on your historical data is actually incredibly dangerous. It's called over-optimization, and it often leads to strategies that look absolutely amazing on paper, but then just completely fall apart the second they see new market data. Sometimes, a good enough solution that is robust and stable is far, far more profitable than a perfect one that's brittle. The quest for the optimal is essential, for sure, but knowing when to stop, that's the real art. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.